Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and in today's video, I'm returning to the Ugly Gryphon Inn. But this time, we have more patrons. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I'm going back to the Ugly Gryphon Inn. I like this game, and I liked it enough that I bought an expansion for it. So this is the More Patrons expansion. There's multiple expansions for this game, but this is the one I wanted. It didn't add any new mechanics. So it's just 3 new cards with 3 new patrons on it. So we have the Crabby King, which is interesting because it has both food and beer, unlike all the other cards in the deck, which typically have one or the other. So this one says, if the king is at the top of the inn, the king irks the patron in the room directly below. And then there's a special rule: the king cannot be in the bar at the end of the game or else you lose. So that's interesting. There's the Wary Werewolf, which has food, and then all 3 of the different irk types. So it has the fighting, the noise, and the smell. So this one says, if the werewolf is on an even numbered floor, the werewolf views the full moon, then transforms and leaves. On her way out, she eats a patron at the bar. That patron leaves too inside the werewolf. So these are fun. The third one is Thirsty Genie. So like the werewolf, it has all 3 irks, but this one has beer instead of food. And this one says, if neither the top nor the bottom of the inn have beer, the genie leaves and snaps her fingers on her way out. Shuffle all of the remaining patrons in the inn and place them back in a random order. Restart resolving irks at the top of the inn. Now the little rule card that comes with this expansion just says to shuffle these 3 into the deck and then play the game as normal, but you must have 1 more patron at the end in order to win, so 8 instead of 7. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play just the normal game, and I'm going to take 3 random patrons out. So we'll have 3 fewer, but I won't look at which ones we're removing. So 1, 2, 3. Those are gone. These are going in, and I'll just put them sort of in a little bit mixed up somewhere in the middle. Shuffle these up, and we're going to play this way. So we're going to try and have 7 patrons at the inn as normal. But we know the king can't be at the bar. New rule. Okay, so I'll put this deck here. We'll put these just up in this corner right there. All right, so let's see who's in the bar. We've got the Teetotal Nun, the Bloody Barbarian, the Lazy Sorcerer, and the Crabby King. The king would probably be a good one to put at the bottom. I know the king can't be in the bar at the end, but let's put the king at the bottom because if they're at the top, they irk the patron below them. So let's just get that out of the way. So we'll put the king at the bottom. Now we resolve from top to bottom, so they would irk whoever's below them, and there's no one. So now we draw a new card for the bar. We've got the Drunken Dwarf. And I like getting this one in early. Oh, but this one we want early as well. We want the Sorcerer below the 5th floor. So let's do the Sorcerer quickly. Oh, and I forgot to check for... Oh, this one doesn't have irks. Normal irks. So now we resolve. They're not on the 5th floor or higher. The king is not on the top, so we're good. And now... this one doesn't like fighting, and we have 1, 2, 3 fighting. Well, that was quick. So they're irked by the fighting, so the sorcerer leaves, and to make their exit easier, they switch places with the patron at the bottom of the inn before leaving. So we switch, and then it says continue resolving irks, starting with that relocated patron. So this one leaves, so this one's gone. Here's our out of the inn pile. They're out of the game. Now this one's still at the bottom, so we don't have anything to worry about. So that, I guess, worked out. And I think we'll move the Drunken Dwarf to the inn. So this one is irked if there are 4 or more beer at the inn, but there's only 2, and the king is irked if he's at the top. So now we draw a new patron, The indecisive doppelganger. I always have a hard time with this one. Neither of these have irks that we need to check for. Let's go ahead and put the bloody barbarian at the top of the inn now. Then we check for irks. If there is no beer in the bar, there is a beer at the bar. If there are 4 or more beer at the inn, there are 2. And then if the king is at the top. All right, we're set. So now we have a goblin triplet. This is the one that smells. So we have 2 fighting, 2 smells, and 1 loud. So let's put the teetotal nun at the inn now. And so she doesn't like food, or she doesn't like beer directly above or below. So we're okay. The barbarian is irked if there's no beer at the bar, but there is. The dwarf is irked if there's 4 or more beer at the inn, but there's only 2. And then the king is irked if he's at the top. So now we flip. We have the stressed satyr, and we have also 1, 2, 3 smells. Nobody's irked by smell, and we have 2 fighting, so we're okay there. So let's put the stressed satyr up here, I think. So he's irked if there's no beer at the inn, but there is. The nun is irked if there's beer above or below, but there's not. The barbarian's irked if there's no beer at the bar, but there is. The dwarf is irked if there's 4 or more beer at the inn, but there's only 2. And the king is irked if he's at the top. So we're still doing okay. Next card, Sleepy Summoner. Okay, we check we've got 3 smell and 2 fighting, so we're okay. And let's put the no, not the war bear. We'll put the goblin triplet up here. My inn's getting full. Maybe we'll space them a little more so we can fit 7 in a column, because we need 7 to win. So the triplet is irked if there are 3 goblins at the inn, but there are not. The satyr is irked if there's no beer at the inn, but there is beer. The nun is irked if there's beer above or below her, but there's not. The barbarian's irked if there is, no beer at the bar, but there is beer at the bar. The dwarf is irked if there are 4 or more beer at the inn, and there's only 2. And the king is irked if he's at the top. So we can keep going. We're having a great run. The rusty ranger. And we have 1, 2, 3 fighting. So who's irked by fighting? The nun is. So the nun leaves and silently judges every other patron on her way out. That's okay, not too damaging. So I think I'll move the warbearer to the inn now. So the warbearer is irked if there's no food at the inn, but there's plenty of food at the inn. 1, 2, 3, 4 food. The goblin triplet is irked if there's 3 goblins. The satyr is irked if there's no beer at the inn, but there is beer. The barbarian's irked if there's no beer at the bar, but the rusty ranger's got beer. The dwarf is irked if there's 4 more beer at the inn, but there are 3 right now, not 4. And then the king is irked if he's at the top, so we can keep going. Let's grab the next one. Sensitive hunter. And let's go ahead and put that sensitive hunter at the top, and we'll just end up getting rid of them right away. Oh, and I didn't check for irks. Noise, fight, smell. So not enough to irk anybody. Okay, so the sensitive hunter is irked if there's more food than beer at the inn. So let's count up the food. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and beer is 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's not more food than beer. It's even. And then the warbear is irked if there is no food at the inn, but there is. The goblin's irked if there's 3 goblins. The stressed satyr is irked if there's no beer at the inn. The barbarian's irked if there's no beer at the bar. The drunken dwarf is irked if there's 4 or more beer at the inn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the drunken dwarf is irked now. So the dwarf leaves drunkenly. He goes out the window instead of the door and lands on a patron waiting outside. Remove the top card of the deck from the game. So that would be... Oh, the thirsty genie. We didn't get to see that one. That's too bad. And then the king is irked if they're at the top of the inn. Sorry about you, genie. So let's draw the next card. And we've got the clumsy wizard. They don't like to be at the top of the inn either, so that's sort of competing with the king. But I think now would be a good time to play that one. So let's put the clumsy wizard at the top of the inn. Way back there where I can't read it. So it says, and I didn't check for irks again. We've got loud, fighting, and smell. So okay, not enough for any irks. So the clumsy wizard says, if the wizard is at the top of the inn, which he is, the wizard casts a brand new spell. Take the 3 patrons below him, shuffle them, and place them back in a random order. So this one, and this one. And I don't think any of these were really order dependent, so that's why I wanted to play the clumsy wizard now. Okay, so next is the goblin triplet. We don't have any other goblins, so he's not irked. Sensitive hunter, if there is more food than beer. So food, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and beer we have 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Okay, still a tie. The warbear's irked if there's no food at the inn, but there's beer. There is. The satyr is if there's no beer at the inn, but there is. The barbarian, if there's no beer at the bar, we still have beer at the bar, and then the king's not at the top, so we can keep going. And check for irks. We've got smell, smell, fight, fight, so not enough to irk. So I think we'll put the rusty ranger at the top now. We'll just start looping around. So the ranger is irked if there are 3 or more beer at the bar. There's only 1 beer at the bar. The clumsy wizard is irked if they're at the top of the inn. Goblins irked if there's 3 goblins. Sensitive hunter if there's more food than beer. 1, 2, 3, 4 food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beer. Okay, not an issue. The warbear just needs food at the inn. The stressed satyr just needs beer at the inn. Barbarian needs beer at the bar, which we have, and the king needs to be doesn't want to be at the top. So we can keep going. Man, we're doing awesome. Weary werewolf. Okay, so the werewolf doesn't want to be on an even numbered floor, and we've got 7 in a stack, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's check for irks and then see what we're going to do. So we've got smell, smell, smell. We've got 3 smells because this one has everything. And then 2 fighting and 1 noise. So let's check for smell irks, starting with the clumsy wizard. So the wizard is going to shuffle these 3 patrons again. 3 below. Okay, so we got the goblin, and then the warbear, and then the sensitive hunter. Yeah, and this werewolf's going to keep setting off different irks if they stay at the bar. So let's go ahead and put them at the inn on an odd numbered floor, on floor 9. So they're not irked. The rusty ranger needs 3 beer at the bar for an irk, and there's only 1, so we're okay. Clumsy wizard's not at the top. Sensitive hunter, if there's more food than beer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beer. We're still okay. If there's more food, or if there's no food at the inn, we're okay. If there's 3 or more triplets, we're okay. Or just if all 3 goblin triplets. If there's no beer at the inn, we're okay. If there's no beer at the bar, we're okay. If the king is at the top of the inn, we're okay. This is amazing. I'm having a great round. Next is the fasting monk, and we've got smell, smell, noise, and fighting. So no irks are set off. The monk doesn't want food directly above or below, but it's not too big a deal. Let's just go ahead and put the monk on top here. So if there's food directly above or below the monk, which there is, the werewolf has food, then the monk leaves quietly. No ill effects. So then we can continue to resolve these irks, but they're going to be identical to last time. So we can go into the next round. And we have 1 of the goblin triplets. And this gives us 1, 2, 3 fighting irks. So let's see who's irked by fighting. Just the sensitive hunter. So this says the hunter leaves. On his way out, he abandons a rotten stag carcass in his room. All patrons in the inn irked by smells leave too. So that's going to be the clumsy wizard. They're gone. We rearrange here. So we've still got 7 at the inn. I think we're okay. And we'll just move this goblin triplet in for the 8th floor. That should be pretty safe. So now we resolve the irks. If there are 3 goblins at the inn, there's not. If the werewolf is on an even numbered floor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we're good. Rusty ranger, if there are 3 or more beer at the bar, there's only 1. Warbear, if there's no food at the inn, there's food. Goblin triplet, if there's 3 goblins, there's not. Stressed satyr, if there is no beer in the inn, there's beer. Bloody barbarian, if there's no beer at the bar. There is beer at the bar. And if the king is at the top. So now there are no more cards. That's the end of the game. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more patron than I needed. So there you go. That's Ugly Gryphon Inn with the additional more patrons expansion. So I like the king. The werewolf was fun too. It was too bad we didn't get to see the thirsty genie. I think she really would have messed some stuff up, kind of like the indecisive doppelganger does, or similar to the clumsy wizard as well, just mixing cards up. But I do like these additional cards. I think they do some simple but fun things that don't really change the gameplay. So this is an expansion where it's more of the same, and I think that's a good thing. Out of curiosity, I know one of the goblins wasn't there. Who else were I missing? Oh, the time mage and the bunny prince. So that's who we dealt out. So there you go. This Ugly Gryphon Inn with more patrons. I like it, and I hope you did too. And let me know what you thought about the music in the background of this video. It's just something new that I'm trying. Do you find it distracting, or do you like it? Should I do that in just short videos, or should I do that in every video? Would you want that for like a 1 to 2 hour playthrough, of a larger game like a Voidfall or Anachrony or something? Just thought I'd test it out and see what you think, but let me know in the comments. And then don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video. Those things are always appreciated. But that's what I've got this time on Table for One. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great time. I know I did, and I'll see you in the next video.